It's Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in San Diego County. Today we are joined by the mayor of San Marcos in North County. His name is Jim Desmond. I want to speak with you about North County. What a great burgeoning region. I drove through there recently on the 78. A little traffic, but we'll talk about that in a while. Okay. But I know that the communities along the 78 have decided to collaborate. Tell us about your Innovate 78 collaboration.
Well, the Innovate 78 collaboration is a group of 5 cities along the 78 corridor.
Name them.
And they are Carlsbad, Oceanside, Vista, San Marcos, and Escondido. And what we decided to do is several years ago, we decided we want to make sure we're recognized as a group in North County. And
Why?
Well, we wanted to make sure we were getting the resources, particularly the infrastructure resources for roads and freeways, to North County. We want to make sure we were getting our fair share.
And let's talk about that, because I think it's fair to say that folks in different parts of the county that are not in the north often are able to demand and receive more county dollars. Is that fair?
Well, I think it's more Sandag dollars, more transportation dollars.
Okay.
And our emphasis, I mean, we're still, we're not the Wild West, but we are still heavily freeway dependent.
Right.
And we do have the Sprinter that runs along the 78 corridor. But we noticed a lot of the money and a lot of the projects go down to the San Diego area, which there are more people and they have more transit needs. But we wanted to make sure we were getting the resources we needed also in North County. So we formed this group, the 5 mayors along the corridor, got together and said, hey, how do we work together to make sure we get the transportation resources we need?
Focus on transportation.
On transportation was the initial at first. But then we kind of morphed into a economic group to where we thought, hey, we've got a lot of economic viability up here. We want to be able to attract businesses and become kind of an economic powerhouse along the corridor there.
And I have to think that the timing of that coincided with the elimination of redevelopment agencies.
Yes.
Because when you had redevelopment, you were able to use tax increment, assembly of land to develop and catalyze certain communities. Without that, you're going to start trying to pick each other off, but now you're Big Five.
We decided to collaborate in those efforts. And what we realized is each city had their own uniqueness. So I mean, Oceanside and Carlsbad, the rest of us are jealous, but they have a nice beach.
They do.
They have a nice beaches area, but they also have a lot of biotech and bioengineering firms there in Oceanside and in Carlsbad. In Vista, they've got a large business park down there, and they've also got redevelopment going on in their downtown as well. San Marcos, we're the education hub. We've got Cal State San Marcos, Palomar College.
I want to talk about that.
High Tech High. We've got a plethora of schools. And then in Escondido, they also have a lot of business areas as well. And the land is actually a little bit less expensive the further east you go. And so that makes more for workforce housing availability. And so we decided to say, how can we collaborate and make sure, even if a business has to grow or let's say is outgrowing San Marcos or Escondido, if we can keep them along the 78 corridor and keep those jobs there, try not to poach from each other, but try to make sure, and what has really evolved from this, the best thing that I've seen out of this Innovate 78, is that the 5 mayors, we are talking on a regular basis. Our city managers are talking on a regular basis. Our planning groups, it's because we're trying to streamline our permitting processes so that it's as close as it can be between the cities if a business is going to move.
But part of the challenge is when you do bring on new businesses, that means more cars. And that means the 78, which was the initial impetus to start the collaboration, can get more impacted.
Well, and we've been trying to do our best to make sure that we can try to fix the 78.
So let me ask you more about that.
Okay.
I'm trying to consider, Sacramento's been in special session on transportation funding for God knows how long. It's over a year. Many counties do have dedicated transportation sales taxes. San Diego.
We have a Transnet measure here.
Right now. So that's helpful. But are we still needing more dollars to try to ease the pressure off that 78?
Well,
what's the answer?
I know. I wish I had the answer. I wish I had the answer. Actually, we tried one this last election. It was Measure A that unfortunately didn't pass. It did get the majority of the votes. I think it had like 56%, but it needed 2/3 in order to pass. And that would have been and actually the 78 was one of the very first projects out of that.
And Measure A, San Diego County.
San Diego County,
not specific to the 5.
No, or the 78. No. So that would have. it basically increased or moved a lot of projects up sooner. But the voters said no. So we're going to have to, try to find other means to.
And that's tricky because, as you know, so often, if a local entity can leverage dollars and tell Sacramento, we have our own dedicated dollars, they'll match it, or
Yes.
DC will match it. I mean, you do have the initial passage, like you said, but with Measure A going down, I mean, I think in Los Angeles County, Measure M, I believe it was passed.
So all of those matching federal and state dollars are going to go to Los Angeles for the next decade or so.
So what do you think happened? Because, San Diego County, I mean, look, LA County may be a little more progressive on taxing issues, but San Diego is not that much.
I don't know if it wasn't. The election was enlightening on many different levels. On different levels.
For sure.
So I don't know that, and I think there were so many propositions and there were so many measures on. It was easy to go no.
Right.
And a lot of people, even and it's justified. Say, look, I already pay enough taxes, fix the roads with what money you got, and it's not always that easy.
The challenge becomes, better than I, we fund a lot of our road construction through the gas tax, and we can say a lot of things about the gas tax, but it's not adjusted for inflation. Gas prices, while they seem high, they're really down. And
the cars are more fuel efficient, and there's more electric cars, there's more hybrid cars, and so the formula that we have right now for funding roads and freeways is based on an older model when cars used a lot of gas. And so we don't have that now, but there's still the same vehicle miles are probably being driven on the roads, but the money isn't coming in like it used to.
Has San Diego County or the Innovate 78 group looked at tolls? I mean, that may be a dirty word for Summit, but it works in Orange County.
Well, we haven't looked at that. I mean, this election was pretty fresh.
I hear you.
So we haven't really reassessed that. One of the things that we do in San Marcos is we collect money for projects that are right along the freeway for freeway on-ramps and off-ramps. And actually, we are going to be improving the Woodland Parkway interchange, which is in San Marcos, which is a little bit of a congested interchange. But once that gets done, and it's going to be done with local dollars, not state dollars or Transnet
that's impressive,
dollars. It's the city of San Marcos. We're going to be paying for this interchange, but it's right next to Cal State San Marcos, and it's going to try to help relieve some of the backup that we get there on the 70.
Let's talk about Cal State San Marcos.
Okay.
Part of a plethora of educational institutions that make San Marcos the education hub of North County. Cal State San Marcos, Palomar Community College, University of St. Augustine, University of St. Catherine, High Tech High. Wow.
They love it. And we create an environment. We embrace education. In the city of San Marcos, our citizens get it. Our demographics of San Marcos pretty much mirrors the state's demographics.
Oh, interesting.
And yet our school scores rank right up there with the more affluent areas of the county, or with Poway and with Coronado and La Jolla. Well, we embrace education in the city of San Marcos. We know that it's very important. It helps raise property values. And we don't want to be just an exporter of educated people. We want them to be able to live and stay in San Marcos, start up businesses, stay along the 78 corridor, and be able to and want to stay there and do that, so that we're not just exporting that talent. And if you've got the talent and you've got young families coming to an area, you're going to attract businesses. You're going to attract restaurants. You hear politicians say I want to bring more businesses. Well, if you have talent, then that's where the businesses will want to locate. Case in point is Sorrento Valley. That's right around UCSD, is where all the engineers are coming out. Silicon Valley is around Stanford. So I know we're not going to be to that extent, but if we can create that little microcosm to where this is where the talent is, then this is where the businesses will want to be.
He is Jim Desmond. He is the mayor of San Marcos in beautiful North County. My name is Brad Pomerance in San Diego County. You're watching Local Edition.